Welcome to Audio Portraits.
Thanks.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jessa Sky. I'm a singer-songwriter, performing artist. Some people say I'm an influencer. I feel like that's a little weird. But I talk openly about the things I've been through, mental health advocacy. I kind of do a lot of things, but my main thing is I sing.
I love that.
Yeah.
How did you get into music?
Professionally, I got into it. It was just like someone messaging me. They had seen my Instagram, and I started like playing around in like 2019 at local studios, but it was nothing like it is now. And then they became my manager, and then I did CBC Searchlight, and that's kind of how it all started. But I've sang since I was little. Like I didn't actually talk until I was 3 or 4. So my parents got me in like speech therapy, like music, just to see what was wrong with me. And then I started talking and I never shut up. So still true to this day.
This started from the very beginning.
Yes, exactly. I just have a lot of things to say, apparently.
So does that translate to your music at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird when people ask me like, what's your writing process, or like, what's your music style? And like, it's just like, it's not like I'm Jess and then I'm a singer. Like, it's just everything combined. So like when I write, I've always write in my notepad or my voice memos. I have like my iCloud storage is ridiculous. But I just speak the truth of like what I've been through into music. It kind of makes me feel like my safe space. It's like where I feel most authentic, I would say.
I love that.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a little bit how your Indigenous heritage influences your music?
Yes.
If at all?
Yeah. I was actually asked that the other day. So Indigenous heritage, like it's a weird thing. It wouldn't say music. How do I word it? I was ashamed to be Native when I was younger because my mom is a residential school survivor. So I didn't grow up on the reserve, and all I saw was, I grew up in a very white, just like town, and I didn't know anything about it, but that was no fault of my own. And then as I got like into addiction, and then went to treatment centers and started to like find out who I was like, this is nothing to be ashamed of, and like it actually helped me like heal. I don't like to say, like, it's kind of, you're put in a box. Like, I'm an Indigenous pop artist is what I used to have to call myself for reasons. And I don't need an Indigenous label to prove that I'm talented or to like take up space in this industry. Like, I'm talented without that label. However, it's still a healing process and journey for me to find out who I am through my culture, because it's I gaslight myself that I'm not Native enough. Like I'm privileged, so I do try to showcase like parts of who I am. Like I'm a Cree woman, and I show it through a lot of my style, like a lot of the things that I wear, and in my personal life, like going to sweat lodges and stuff like that. But I did do a song called "We're Not Lost," and that came from a place of like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I do have a platform, but I don't do it with the purpose to be this Indigenous spokesperson with my music, essentially. But it's not my main focus when I write songs. Like, I'm just me writing, and I just so happen to be Native.
As you should be, right?
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't have to be put in a certain box just because you're Indigenous. Because like I keep hearing things like come up with that same situation where it's like, because you're Indigenous and you do music, that you are an Indigenous soul singer, Indigenous rapper.
Yeah.
Whereas like
so
you just want to be known as being a good artist at what you do, right? So it's like, how do you kind of break that box or that barrier?
Yeah, and I find, I actually know quite a few people that have been accepted for grants or to like, probably like shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, like loudly and proudly, they will use their like Indigenous heritage when they don't actually, just so they can get a head in the door into a spot that could be taken and should be used for an actual Indigenous person. And that's why I don't identify as that, because that's just who I am, and that's like to like, that is my lineage, my mom being a residential school survivor, but I'm not ever gonna lie about who I am. Like, you know, there's like that integrity aspect, and like, it's good. I think we do need help in that regard for like the stuff that's happened in like our history, but I don't, it's such a fine line of like, hey, like, I don't need your pity, like, you know, but also I'm not going to represent like my whole community, because that just doesn't feel real. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
You briefly mentioned addiction. I kind of just want to touch base on that. Does that influence your music? And if you want to kind of speak further about the addiction part of it, that's on you.
Addiction like 100% influences my music, everything in my life, because I think people, and this is just my own judgment, but I think people have a perception of what addiction is. And for 8 years, I tried to get sober. I tried to get clean and sober. I did not like what happened to me when I drank. Like, I had no control. I lost the power of choice. But I thought drinking was the problem, but that was my solution to me and my mind. And my mind is very sick. And when people like, you know, when I say that, they're like, oh, like, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. But it's like, no, like, I'm very well aware of my thoughts, behaviors, actions. And my mind, my first thought is not usually a good one. It's usually to self-sabotage. It's usually to like do something not, like, it's against my moral compass. But like, now I'm 19 months clean and sober, and like, I don't want to drink or use, you know. And when I realize that I'm the problem, and that like my mind is trying to like basically kill me on a daily basis, that's a little dramatic, but that's what it can lead to. I don't, like, drinking was the solution to everything. So to like music, that's how I cope. That's how I, you know, like, I just wrote a song about my borderline personality disorder, and like how like even being here with you, like at times I feel I don't deserve this, that this is all a lie, that like, why me? Like, you know, like this is all like, I will, like, my mind can like really become a dark place, and I have to stay close to my supports, to like being spiritual and realizing like I'm not supposed to be perfect. Like, I'm just a human. I'm not that important at all. There's billions of people on this earth, and like, what message am I trying to portray to the world? And I really just want to help people, because I felt so helpless for so long. And it's like, I'm not the only one going through it. So it has everything to do with who I am and what I want to do with music.
I love that. You said you're 19 months sober now?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How has the journey been?
Oh my gosh. It's been wild. I could not get together. Like, I think my longest amount of sobriety was 5 months. And that wasn't actual sobriety. Like, there's a difference between putting the bottle away and like healing. And I've been through everything under the sun in sobriety. I lost someone to suicide, like really close to me, my ex. Still dealing with that. Like, there's been so many things that have happened, but I haven't wanted to pick up a drink, which that's a miracle. And it's kind of like accepting life on life's terms. Like, there's things I never thought I would overcome or be able to go through, and I've done it. Even like my merch, actually figuring it out myself from the ground up. Like, people used to say to me, you never finish anything you start. And I was like, oh my God, they're right. Like, what's wrong with me? But now I like all of the things in these 19 months that I've accomplished is like, holy shit, I did that. Like, you know, it feels good. And it's like, I'm secure in who I am as a woman and as a singer and an artist. So like, nothing that happens in life I can't get through. And that's super empowering when you realize that. So it's just nice to be okay with who I am and not like hate myself anymore.
100%. Yeah, I love that. What kind of influences your music? Do you have like any Indigenous artists that you kind of look up to, or it doesn't even have to be Indigenous? Do you have anyone that you look up to?
I have personally, I have a lot of people that I look up to. That are like fellow people in the industry. Kaylee Cardinal has really helped me. She helped me get out of like a really toxic like situation in the industry. She showed me, like, she helped me so selflessly. Like, she didn't make me pay. Like, so many people in my circle in the music industry just believe in me, and they see something in me, and they offer like out of the goodness of their hearts. And I don't know about you, I can tell when someone's being not truthful, or like they're being like, I just get that feeling, and I'm
kind
like,
of sense it, right?
Yeah, you can feel they're like a fake. I like to call, like, you smell a fake away. People are energy vampires, but I keep my circle really small. And when someone like that shows up for you in a way. It's really nice. On a bigger scale, people that like inspire me, that I look up to, like artist wise, I have a lot of them. They change all the time, but anyone can be a good singer. Anyone can have this talent, but if you're not a good person behind the camera, if you know, like I have no time for that. And I think that's why it's hard for me to think of like an artist that I don't actually know personally, because they, you know, but I did meet Taylor Swift. I like always say, yeah, she was 2 days before my high school graduation, and I tried to commit suicide in grade 10, and her music got me through it. So I got to thank her in like person, and like that's when I realized like someone that I doesn't even know me helped me. And that's what like I can do through my music, which I hope to do. That's really the only purpose I have in it, also to help myself. But yeah, I think I'm like, there's a lot of Indigenous artists right now that are like doing so much good. And I think it's about time that that space is being taken, and it's beautiful. And I wish people understood there's space for everyone to win. There truly is. Like, we don't need to be jealous or like, you know, so yeah. I think.
Is there anything in particular that kind of helped you or pushed you to pursue a music career?
I have, ever since I was a little girl, I call it manifesting now, but I would go to my room when I was going, like, you know, I was being abused or things were happening to me, and I would like, I remember just like, I still do it at nighttime or anywhere. I just like picture, I close my eyes and I literally can see myself on a stage in front of millions of people. And not millions, that's dramatic, like thousands of people. And
I don't think it's dramatic.
I don't know
it's
if
like
millions of people could fit in a stadium though. So.
You gotta dream big.
Yes, that's true. Thank you for validating that. But I've always wanted to be a singer, always. And then I kind of gave up on that dream. I didn't know like how to do it, because I thought you needed to be like a big, like Lady Gaga or something to make a full-time income. And it kind of just happened. Like it literally kind of just happened. I don't know how to explain it. I started to I just did the next right thing. I just did the next right thing that felt right to me in my soul and like who I am. And one door opened, another door opened, another door opened, another door opened. And like, I had to really get out of my own way and like heal, sobriety. Like I had to get sober. I had to do a lot of hard things that I didn't think I could do. And then I got momentum very quickly. Like I do feel blessed in that regard. Like 2021, I wasn't even sober. And, you know, I like outed myself through a song, Facade. I was like, I was all lie, man. Like I was like 2 weeks sober when I posted on my own and broken, and I was not a good person. And like here all these people are telling me like your music inspires me, and I felt so worthless, like, you know. And now it's like everything I do on social media with my music, it's all real shit. So no one can like try to like hold something over my head. It's like I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have nothing to hide.
Can't take anything away from you.
No, yeah, exactly. And I did do my music career myself. No one helped me. I sold everything I owned in 2021 to fund my first song. And like it paid off, like, you know. And I didn't think this was gonna be happening, and I'm not even where I want to be. But like when you want to wake up most days wanting to die, like, you know, that's where it's like waking up is such a blessing. So like this is all just a bonus. Like really, it's nothing material could ever make me like the feeling I have with the inside of me, like, and how I perceive myself and the world. Like if everything was to go away tomorrow, like even music, if like people are like, sorry, like you're not going to be able to do this anymore, like I know I would be okay, because I had like family, but I like who I am. And I think that's super important, because it's like a void, right? No one can fill that void for you. You have to fill it yourself, like with spiritual, whatever you do.
There's like a saying as well, right? It's like, if you don't love what you're doing, like how can you expect someone else to reciprocate that same energy, right?
That's so true. Like, especially like for what we do, like, you know, like even what you do, like with your stuff, like everyone's so talented, but if I don't see you're passionate about this, like it doesn't make me want to like be passionate too. Like exactly. It's like there's nothing more beautiful than watching someone like their eyes light up when they're doing like something creative, like, and that's someone I'm gonna choose over someone that's like this isn't really for me, like, you know. So that's why it's so, when I say everyone deserves like they can take up space and they can win, it's if you're authentic to who you are and you are living out of that so purely, no one can do that, because that's you, and whatever is supposed to be for you and meant for you will happen. But everyone's trying to be everybody else, and then they wonder why it's not successful. Well, it's because you don't even know who you are. For one, go do that, and then like, it's limitless what you can achieve. And I wish I would have known that when I was like 12 years old and on, you know, but it's all of those things have accumulated to make me who I am, because I use it for good, right? Like, I believe everything can be turned for good.
Preach it to the choir.
Preach
it to the choir.
Hallelujah. Just kidding.
So you briefly mentioned that like you kind of took the right steps to get to where you are now. If you were to speak with someone that was just getting into the industry and didn't know what to do, like, what would you give them as a piece of advice?
Ooh. There's two things I would say. The first thing is, you do not owe anyone anything. That is so key, especially as a woman in the industry or someone vulnerable. You know, I people pleased my whole life, got me in a lot of bad situations. So you stay true to yourself, whatever that intuition, that feeling when you think something is going to go wrong, don't go through with it. You don't owe anyone anything, and you're no good to nobody if you don't take care of yourself. And if you bend your own moral compass, if you don't have boundaries, learn that first before you get into something like this. The second thing is, release. Do not wait. Do not try to perfect something. Get stuff out on all platforms immediately. Just put it out. The more your catalog is big, the more chances someone's gonna be like, oh shit, look at this. And like, you know, I spent like forever on so many songs, and for what, like, always the feedback I got was like, you don't even have an album out. Like, get shit out immediately. Don't wait. Don't sit on things. Like,
so why do the majority of artists that I know or that I come across don't have that same idea? Everybody likes to sit on music and they have a catalog of 1,000 songs that have never seen the planet Earth. And they always come up with an excuse of why they're saving it, or they're saving it for this perfect moment. I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either, and I think it has a lot to do with fear. And I'm just so self-aware that if I don't have faith, I have fear. It comes down to that, and my behaviors change on that. So if I'm not confident in something, if I don't like it, I could really get specific with this, but I think it's because they don't believe in that song, or like they're so worried about what other people are going to think that it needs to be perfect. Well, you're saying that. You're saying it needs to be perfect. No one else is saying that. You're assuming. And if it's something that you're proud of and that you're like, oh my God, this is so sick as fuck, like it's weird, but I'm gonna release it anyways, that shit's gonna do well because it's true to you. Like, who cares what people think? Like, my favorite quote is, you're not the opinion of someone that doesn't know you. And if you're in this industry living for other people and like, oh, it's not ready yet, and like you're spending 6 months on a song, I'm sorry, wake the fuck up, because that's not, like, you could be so much farther if you just like hammered shit out. Like, even with content, people don't realize, like, I have 900 videos in my drafts on TikTok. Why? Because I'll do content day where I'm actually like feeling it, but I don't do content if I'm not in the space to. And like, social media is powerful. Use it for good. It doesn't need to be this toxic thing. Like, that's a belief you have in your head because you care too much about what people think. So it's just like, get out of your own way. I tell everyone that, get out of your own damn way, and like work, like do it. Like, you're the only one in your way. Like, no one else is. You are. So move out and keep going. Like,
keep it pushing.
Yeah. We're our worst enemy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be.
Can you touch on any challenges that you might face being in the music industry?
I face so many challenges currently, even. Like, with success comes like time management. I don't have a manager. I do this all myself, and I have help, like, but it's debilitating. Like, you know, like I spent like 4 days, like probably no sleep, making all this merch for a show. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. I forgot the question. What was the question?
The question was any challenges that you may face in the industry.
There's so many challenges. Challenges like booking, like finding shows, like, and feeling like, okay, I don't even know how to like get my foot in the door, like, and even if I do get a show, like, what's my worth? What am I going to charge them? Am I willing to tell them what I charge and get turned away? Like, what is my reason behind wanting to do this show? Like, there's so many, it's hard being your own manager. So I feel like a lot of people are their own managers in this industry. Mm-hmm. And I think that's dope. I think you don't need a record label to be successful. Shout out Russ. He doesn't have one, and look at him. But essentially it's like, it goes down to your why. Why are you doing this? Because if you're not doing it because it's what gets you up in the morning, well, then you're going to see a challenge in everything.
Yeah.
But keep your circle small and grind, and like do it at your own pace. Like, take time for yourself. You don't like it depends, right? Like, I have a very small circle, and I do this for different reasons. So the challenge is mostly like finding time to continue. Like, you know, I was in the studio 3 times last week. Like, that's money. That's an investment of my own money. Like, I make decent money, and I'll just say that loudly and proudly. Like, I don't need to work a social work job anymore. But most of my money goes back into music to make more music.
You have to invest in yourself,
yeah.
right?
And it's like learning grants. Like, there's so many things that people don't know about.
Yep.
And I think if people just knew there's so much like resources, right? But are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to spend 3 days on a grant application? Like, that shit sucks. I don't like doing it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially with creatives, not even just musicians, mm-hmm. is people don't realize that this is actually a full-time job, not only a hobby. So if you actually want to take it serious and take it to the next step, mm-hmm. you have to do things in order to get 100%. To that, and you have to put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
People just want things to just land on their lap and hope it works out for them.
It'll never happen for them. I shouldn't say never, but yeah, you have to work hard. Like, again, people think content is like, oh, it's so easy. Like, no, it's actually not. Like, having like, it's not. The editing process, like, oh my gosh, you get it. Like, freaking grinding, you're here like doing how many things this week? Like, it's tiring, you know, but again, if you love doing it, you'll do it. It doesn't feel like work. You do it anyways. But it's not just like getting, you know, 200,000 views on a video and being like, oh, I'm like rich. Like, it's, if you're doing it for money too, you're in it for the wrong reason. I'm not in this for money. It just so happens I'm able to make a living off of this now, but it doesn't feel like work. But this shit's work when I have to do emails, when I have to be my own manager. It's exhausting, but also it's so worth it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Do you have any goals? What are your goals for music?
I have so many goals. I've already achieved a lot of them, so I had to kind of like, oh shit, what's the next one? Like, you know, I definitely know I'm going to win a Juno. You've heard it here. I'm going to win a Grammy.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I heard it right here. I want to tour. I'm going to be probably touring next year. I want to have my EP out by September. I want to start a nonprofit for like all my babies that I work with, like the at-risk youth that I work with. I want to be able to make enough money where I can like seriously help the younger generation. Mm-hmm. Like, what legacy am I leaving behind when I die? And it's not to get like, yeah, Grammy and Juno, but what comes with that, how much success and how much people I could help in that process. That's what I like to say. Because if I'm at that capacity, like, it's so limitless what I could do and what change I could bring. But yeah, I want to like tour the world. That's like always been my dream, was to tour. Like, essentially what Tate McRae is doing right now, like goals, like I have so much respect for her, like, and it's so possible. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Any future projects or anything that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm going to Calgary tomorrow to do 2 music videos. One for my single Anxiety that came out on my debut album, Had a Single. I'm sending that into Searchlight. I have Never Give Up on Me coming out on the 28th. It's a song I wrote about my parents and what they had to deal with for 8 years. Like, while I don't even understand how they like survive that now that I've been on the other side of it with relationships in my life. Mm-hmm. My EP is like, I have all the songs done. So I am hoping to release that September at the latest. So I have a single coming out every 4 weeks until then, essentially. So yeah, it's going to be busy. I'm doing my first music festival. I don't think I'm allowed. This probably won't be out by the time it happens, but I'm doing a huge music festival in Vancouver. there's so many things where I'm like, holy shit, like this is happening. Like this is happening. Like what I've dreamed of is happening. And that's why I like to like, it's just a blessing again. Like it's kind of weird that this is my life. It's like so cool.
Well, I love that for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing what you have to
I'll have to
to
drag you
offer
to a
and
show.
everything. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna be in Calgary, so hopefully you get to see some stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, I appreciate you being on the episode today.
Thank you for having me and
Of
letting me
course.
talk.
Of
You know, I
course.
like to talk, so.
We'll have to do a round 2.
Yes, please. I have so much shit to say. Like I
Right.
just want to be unhinged.
All right, well, if you guys didn't like that, better luck next time.
Yeah, better luck. Oh wait, that's your line.
That's okay. You can
Better
finish
fucking
it.
luck next time. Fuck.
Tell it to the camera.
Better fucking luck next time.